Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this edition of Sin Beyond and Through with Monty. Well, I have an update for you about the whole Murad Meral'S situation. And a little revelation came to me that I need to share with you because I truly believe that this man here is lying. I want to play his so-called apology. And after I play it for you, I'm going to dissect some things that are very off-putting, that are very strange. That's just kind of weird language and lingo to use if you've been through something very traumatic as a grape. Now, I'm not going to say the R word because YouTube censors are very sensitive towards that particular word. So I'm going to use the term grape. Now, I want you to hear this bogus apology.
Information that I'm going to reveal, I did not want to reveal. But I've had no choice now but to reveal this because I need to reveal it and it needs to come from my heart to everybody. When I was 14 years old, I was severely raped. Countless times. I was just a kid, man. I was severely raped. I had genitals shoved in my anus. I had feet shoved in my mouth. And I can never get it out of my head. And it fucked me up. Relentlessly. Every other night. I couldn't escape it. It happened all the fucking time. It happened all the fucking time. I couldn't escape it. But no one knew. Nobody knew. And I said to myself, I want to do whatever the fuck I need to do to get out of this place, or it's going to happen again to me. So I did just that. I developed these fetishes, this foot fetish. I developed it through what happened to me. And I needed to make money. That was my only goal, to make money, to make money, to make money. It was all about money. Because money is what I needed to get out of a place that I was being brutally fucking raped in. This is the truth. This is who I am. This is who Murad Meral'S is. And I'm saying it to you now, and I want to be transparent about every fucking little thing, because this is who I am. This is why.
Okay, did you guys buy that? Couldn't you not tell that this was deflection? Couldn't you not tell that he was trying to draw sympathy? That he was trying to make himself be the victim? Now, certain things stood out to me. And one of the things that stood out to me was the use of severely twice. Why would you use the term you were severely raped? I mean, are you implying that some people are gently or delicately raped? See that right there? Anyone who's been through a very traumatic experience like that, I just do not believe would use the term severely. Now, I do believe that someone writing about it, a third-party source who wasn't involved in it, they may use the term like, so-and-so was severely raped. That's from a writer's standpoint. But something like that happening to you, it doesn't matter. I mean, you can have children who can enjoy the experience, but it's still great. It's still very traumatizing. It's still very much a violent act. I just don't think that you're going to use that particular term and somehow imply that there are gradations to it when you use the term severely. That's a problem which I have with that. So I'm just not buying that. And the other thing I'm not buying too was that the part about penises being shoved in me, foots being shoved in my ear. So basically, what you're saying is that the reason why you have this fetish is because of those traumatizing experiences, actions that happened to you. I heard that Murad studied psychology. Well, I have too. And usually, fetishes do not happen because of traumatizing experiences. Usually, when people have like a foot fetish or things like that, it's not because of something that happened to them. Usually, if this truly happened to him, the last thing that he would develop is a foot fetish. He would tend to get as far away from that as possible. So this is an excuse that he's making up. He's trying to say that because of what happened to me years ago, when I was 14 years old, it caused me to have this ongoing fetish. Okay, then how do you explain the racist lingo? That doesn't make any sense to me at all. Because if this happened to you in your own country by people who are your own ethnicity, how do you explain you using the N-word? How do you explain you using the C word for an Asian person? How do you explain the F-bomb being dropped? Derogatory term towards gays. A lot of what you're saying does not make any sense at all. To be honest, people, I do not believe that he was raped. I'm going to tell you what I truly believed. Okay, he's into very disparaging, dehumanizing experiences that he directs towards other people. I truly believe, and I wouldn't put it past him, that he was the aggressor, that he was the one who raped someone very savagely or severely, as he wants to put it. I believe that he did that to someone who was younger, because his actions from these videos shows and tells me that he likes to degrade people. He likes to dehumanize people. And these actions of being raped, they're about dehumanizing people, degrading people, and that's what he's into. So I think that he's trying to flip the script. And people, that performance that he was doing, I can see right through that. And people say right here, most of Murad's friends are black. They are usually in his house. People, geez, when racists tend to have black friends, they are these soft black friends. Black friends who do not cause them any problems whatsoever, who are not going to have them question their racist ideologies, tendencies, or beliefs. These are the blacks who are the all lives matter types of black people. The black people who will make claim that I don't see color. You can't help who you fall in love with type of black people. And the blacks who will say love is love. A racist white person cannot be friends with me, or any racist cannot be friends with me, because I put black people first and foremost. I'm going to speak about racism. I'm going to call you out on it. I'm going to let you know that because you're non-black, I'm not going to pedestalize you. I'm not going to be one of these soft blacks. So it does not surprise me that he would have some black people in his corner at his house. That's common. Someone wrote here, I thought Murad was the supporter of the black community. So it's surprising to hear that he said these racial slurs. That being said, I want you to hear this video.
What's been trending on TikTok right now? If I tell you I am in shock, being in shock is an understatement, because one thing that I've always said is whatever happened to darkness will surely come to light. So if you guys do not know, Murad Meral'S has been exposed on Twitter for his foot fetishes. Now, I thought, what's the big deal? It's just a foot fetish. Until I heard that there were slurs that has been used in these videos, and obviously he's been exposed for that. To me, I'm not gonna lie, I'm really shocked, I'm surprised, I'm flabbergasted. I have mixed feelings right now about this whole situation, because it's like, I want to try and get why he did it, but at the same time, the more I think about it, in my mind is the more I become even more confused. Like, it just doesn't make sense to me now. The real reason why I feel this way is because this is someone who's always stood for people of color, right? And he's always talked about, the injustice that we people of color go through, especially black people, especially women of color, black women, to be precise. Like, he's always been in support of people of color. So it seems. And this is just the fact that you're doing all of this, but behind closed doors, this is what you do, or this is what you say. Like I said, I don't think the whole fetish side of things is the issue. I think it's the whole racial slurs that was heard in these videos and on the captions. Like, it's not sitting right with a lot of us. And I think that's why most people are just so we're just so confused and in shock about, because this is, if I least expected that from him, for someone who claims to be an ally for people of color, black people, I least expected that from him. I think that's why I'm in more shock, because it's like, of all people, it had to be him. And how does that even make sense? I think it's very, very hypocritical for him to sit there and criticize other people for being using racial slurs and things of that sort, but then behind closed doors you use the exact same words. Make that make sense? I guess this pretty much explains the constant traveling from one country to the next, because I've always wondered, like, where do you get this money to travel this much? Like,
so that video goes in line with these comments right here, where the black female said that she was very surprised about Murad. She thought he was an ally to black people, and particularly black women. So let's break this down. He only used black women to gain a following, to gain numbers. Basically what he was doing is that it's called pandering and pretending. And, when racist men, let me explain something to you about non-black men who tend to be racist. Okay, they have a tendency, and it's very common for them to befriend black women. And the reason being is because racists tend to befriend or to some degree feel more comfortable around those he are not threatened by. He's less threatened by black women. And also, too, with the psychology and the mindset of black women, they feel like, to some degree, many of them, that they're not appreciated by black men. So others come in there and fill that void. He kind of pumps their head up, makes them feel good, that he's an ally, he understands what they're going through, so forth and so on. It's called pretending, and pandering is what he does. That's what he did. Most of his followers on YouTube, his fan base, were black women. So therefore, he's going to cater to them. He's going to whisper sweet nothings into their ear, telling them things that they want to hear. It's a very common practice. It's not genuine. So people need to really understand that particular mindset. And when I tell you that racists tend to be not as threatened by black women, because they look at them as being the weaker sex. They're more threatened by black men. Remember Whoopi Goldberg, my friend Mel Gibson is a bonehead, not a racist. And the reason why she said this, because she states that Mel Gibson came around me and my children, and he was playing with my children. Whoopi, he was playing with children. He was around your black woman. he does not feel as threatened by you because you are a black woman. Is that so difficult for people to understand? Bill Maher, ex-girlfriend, has some advice for him regarding the N-word. Here we have a racist Bill Maher. Dating. He was dating her. Sleeping with her. He called her the N-word when he got mad. Once again, this demonstrates here a white man cavorting around with the black woman because he does not feel threatened by her. Is that so difficult for you guys to understand? That they would choose the one person or the people who they're not threatened by. It's just that simple. But some of you guys are seemingly like that black female. I'm so surprised. I'm dumbfounded. I'm trying to process this. There's nothing to process, sweetie. There's not anything to process. By their mindset, you are the weaker sex. That's how they think. So they would gravitate because they feel more comfortable around a black woman, less so around a black male, because the black male is a threat to them. The black female and black children are not. Halle Berry accuses ex-boyfriend Gabriel Aubrey of the I better not say that word for YouTube, but that N-word, that was with a grown relative. It wasn't with their daughter. So let's make that clear. But the racism was directed at Halle Berry and her nanny. He called them the N-word. Once again, you have a racist white man here dating a female, biracial, but who considers herself black, and who certainly he considers black. He full-blown went in on her and her nanny with a full racist, comment. Disparaging remarks to the mother of his child. So that tells you right then and there that, yes, racists can be in close proximity to black people. They can interact with black people. They can obviously date black people, have sex with black people. Slave masters have sex with their slaves, reproduce with black people. It doesn't make them any less racist. Depending on who the person is, depending on the time, yeah, it comes out. Sometimes they can contain it. Sometimes they can keep it under control. They can keep it under wraps. Particularly if you're dealing with someone who you're not threatened by. So this explains why and how racist men like this are able to entertain black women, be in close proximity towards black women, get black women to believe that somehow they're an ally, that somehow they're one that these black women should trust or black people should trust. But, usually you can figure people out like this who are not blacks because they have this obsession with black people or with black culture. This is the reason why I don't trust culture vultures at all. I've said this before and I'll say it again. That's a racist mentality. They're stealing. When you lie, you steal. When you steal, you'll kill. So with this man right here, with his obsession with giving advice to black people, his obsession with colorism, always directed it from the standpoint of it in the black community. He never addressed it from the standpoint of his community, his Arab, Middle Eastern communities. Believe me, they have that same issue there. Asians have the same issue. Indians have the same issue. Arabs, Middle Eastern have the same issue. But he was always talking about it and speaking it from the standpoint like he's within the black community. And this man right here cannot tell me anything about being black. He has never lived as a black man. He has never walked in my shoes as a black man. I don't give a damn how many black men he's fucking, how many black men he allowed to fuck him. He cannot tell me a damn thing about being black. And the idea that you have the gall to sit up there and think that you can give me advice shows right there a superiority complex that you have. So you're sitting up there thinking that somehow your advice is good enough to give to a black person. A black person who You truly have no idea as to what they're going through. And believe me, this so-called POCs, people of color, their experiences are different from ours. Their history is different from ours. It is not the same thing. Don't buy that crap. Do not believe that at all. So with him, I'm not surprised at all. I always felt uncomfortable with him. I've never felt that he was an ally. I've always felt that he was pandering, pretending. Always felt that he was racist. That this total interjecting yourself into other people's business that you have no business being in. So again, hopefully we can learn a lesson by this. And that lesson that we can learn by this: be careful who you invite to the cookout. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, that is another edition of Seeing Beyond and Through with Monty, and I will see you all beyond and through.